I'm out here at Starved Rock. It's a state park in Illinois. I'm here with about a dozen friends I went to high school with. Some of us have not seen each other for about 30 years, and we've been reminiscing and telling stories. In fact, my good friend Bob and I stayed up till about 2 o'clock in the morning telling stories. And one of them was pretty interesting. It was a story he told me about what happened to him at Starved Rock here, and then I told him my story about what happened at Starved Rock. And they were similar but different. Let me explain. Bob almost fell over the cliff here, which is a long drop into the Illinois River. He was walking backwards helping somebody, and his foot went off the side and he fell over, grabbed onto a tree, and hung there and was able to climb back up. He would have lost his life. What Bob didn't know was that one time when we were here, all walking along this cliff area, I stayed behind while the others went to the other side, and I literally walked to the edge of the cliff. And I started thinking to myself, if I just take one step further, the pain will be over. I'm not talking about physical pain, I'm talking about emotional pain. Back then I was about 18 years old, and my life was just pretty messed up. And I didn't think that life was worth living. And I was just trying to muster the courage to take that one last step. And I remember my heart was beating really hard. And then it was like a voice kind of spoke to me in my heart. And it said, you don't have to do this. You can take a step back, and if you do, you're going to have a better life. Well, I trusted that voice. I took that step back. I remember I was shaking, I was crying a little bit, and then I just kind of ran and caught up to the other people, never told them a word about it until I told my buddy Bob the other night, and he was like, wow. And what I shared with him is I learned three things from that experience. One was there's something about providence. I think it was very providential. I don't think that voice inside me was my own. I really believe it was God saying to me, hey Don, I got more for you than living in a life of pain. Which took me to the second thing I learned, and it was about purpose. Because what I felt he was saying to me is, I got a purpose for your life. And so I really started to think about that days and weeks and months later. And I really started to think about what I wanted to do with my life. And I started to find a passion. And that passion was about helping people. Now here I am 30 some years later. I work in a helping profession where I work with people all the time. In fact, a lot of what I do is help people to walk back from the ledge, so to speak, so they can find a sense of purpose and passion for their life. And so those three things I learned was there's something providential about my existence, and I do have a purpose in life. In fact, my motto is, as long as you have a pulse, you have a purpose. And the third thing I learned was find your passion. And once I did, really my life changed. And I'm so glad I took that step, not forward, but backward.